Well, here's something different. I've been asked if I can show how I animate my aircraft flying over a map so that you can show when I'm video editing, so you can show where you're going from and to during a flight. So let's have a look. So I'll be combining screen capture with me talking.
This video was brought to you by you because you subscribed. Thank you so much.
First, priorities. Salted caramel coffee. So the first thing we do, as I was saying, is we find a map. Now you can use any map, of course, it's just a background on your video editing. I'm going to choose something from Google Earth, well, or Google Maps as it would be. So I'm just going to screen capture my map and save the picture. Then I'm going to bring it into my editing software. First of all, we go into Photoshop and we create a map with the track on it. Once we've done that, we also make sure we've got a photo of our aircraft that we want to fly over the map. Once you've done that, bring the clean map, the map with the track, and the map with the actual aircraft image into your editing software. So we'll do that, and this. Now what you want to do is make them all about the length of time that you want them to play on the screen for. So I'm going to change my clip duration to 10 seconds. There you have it. So now what we want to do is we're going to have to, for this to, well, there's a couple of things we can do. The way I'm going to do this very simply is, first of all, we're going to show the aircraft just flying along the track. So at the beginning we might start with a large picture of the aircraft. Now both of these images, if you have a look, are not quite the full size of the frame, so we'll just bring that up a bit. Alright, now we're going to make the aircraft follow the track, but yeah, obviously the aircraft's too big. Now the whole key to making this work is to use what's called the zoom first, and then positioning and using keyframes to, on the right here, to move to the different locations as the map progresses. So I reckon that by the time I get to about this position, I want the aircraft to be finished. So I'm going to put a marker on the track there, and then at this point we're going to start with the aircraft big, and I'm going to fly it in, turn it round, and then have it follow the track. So at this point here we add a start transition. I'll play it, I'll stop it, and then at that point I want it to reduce in size, probably about that size, and then we'll move it to the correct position using the adjustments, and then we can't really flip it that easily. Oh, I can rotate it. Okay, so there's some tricks. Every piece of software that you use to do this is going to have its own certain ways of wanting to do things. So you'll see that on here I've started creating keyframes. This first one's put it there. You can watch this, play it each time. I know what's going to happen, so I'm going to build this up first before I try playing it. Now I'm going to put another transform there to hold it there. I'm going to cut the plane. I'm then going to the track of the plane, and then I'm going to flip this next part. This is going to get messy, but anyway, we're going to flip it horizontally, and then from here we can now start flying. So I reckon if we go to about play. There, we will then just move it to the next position. So that's going to be there and there. Okay, now we can just tab forward, just space, move forward a couple of frames, and then we're going to cut the track again, and then we're going to select this aeroplane again, and we're going to flip this one again, and we're going to put a location. And before we go any further, let's make sure that's working. So you'll see what I'm doing. In, turn, up we go. Now we've turned again. So at the beginning of this track, I've started it. I'm going to play it. I'm going to stop it. Now at this point in time, we're going to be at the next point on our track. This is easy. I shouldn't have to cut it anymore because we're always heading east from here on. We'll just reveal all the points as we go. So that's got to there. We can now play to here, probably to there, and then we can add another point. Oh, at this point though, we've got to move the aircraft again, so we move it over here. So it doesn't matter if I add the keyframe before I move the aircraft or after I move the aircraft. It will either create a keyframe in the right location, with the aircraft in the right location if I've already moved the aircraft, or if I create the keyframe before I move the aircraft, then when I move the aircraft, it will update the coordinates for the keyframe, if that makes sense. So then we'll play it a bit more, and as I said, at this blue marker point here, I want it to be in its final destination. So if I wanted to be really clever, I could, well, I'm going to move it to the point first, and as it gets there, I'm going to use rotation. Yeah. We've probably overshot too much, and I'm going to do something else. We can just keep adding to this. So I'm going to reduce the size of the aircraft when it gets to this point. That'll be like, and we'll obviously now have to just relocate the aircraft. As I said, the keyframe updates each time. So if you can imagine, here we go, playing. And that's it. Now I only knew how to do that because I've got some experience in doing this. Now the next thing we want to have a look at is this video about some software that's available to do this automatically for you. So we'll watch that now, and then after you've seen that little clip that I'll show you, I'll show you what even, like if there was a simple track from A to point B, there's another way of doing this which is a little bit easier. So I hope you enjoyed the little clip about the software that's available. It's free, it's easy to use. It's probably not as customizable as what you can do in here, but in some ways if this is too hard, then you can, you probably do better using that software. If video editing is your thing and you know what you're doing, you can accomplish great things. I use something in DaVinci Resolve called Fusion, and Fusion allows me to do a whole lot of customization when it comes to moving an aircraft along a track, including building a shadow for the aircraft. Here's a clip of one I've just done recently. This chart shows a circle I need to stay within, so where shall I go? Will I be able to complete the challenge? Email me with your ideas. You can contact me from this website, and it is also listed in the description below. And you can follow the track, the curved heading, you can create the tracks and everything in DaVinci without going to Photoshop. So what we're going to do this time, I'm going to cheat this time. I'll show you what I mean about creating a track. So I'm going to get the chart on here again. I'm going to make it, and this time it's without the track. I'm going to build the track for you to see in DaVinci, and I'm going to make this clip again 10 seconds long. And then We're going to need an aircraft again. I'm gonna do the same thing. Same 10 seconds, but I'm going to make a different track. We're going to enlarge the chart to be large enough to fill the screen properly. Now, as you can see, the aircraft's too big again, but we'll fix the aircraft part of this later on at the end of this. First, what I want to do is we've got the clip selected, we're going to go to Fusion and DaVinci Resolve. If you know what I'm talking about, DaVinci Resolve and Fusion, then you're doing well. So I'm going to add a background. Now the background can be, will become the track of where the aircraft is going to fly. Show clips. Okay, so we've got to select that clip. Now we're good. All right, so we've selected the right background. Now, which is our chart without a line on it. And we'll just add that background clip again, join it to here, select the color for our background. At the moment it's black. Let's go purple. The magenta line, the wonderful magenta line. All right, so that's done. That's now directly connected into our now what do we do? Transform line. We've got to now create a mask. So in DaVinci we go Shift Space and we type in mask, and this mask is the line that we're going to create. So we add that, and as you can see the purple line's disappeared because we haven't got a mask, a line drawn. So now we can select the polystroke option here, and we can just say let's do something similar. We're just going to draw a simple line from Brisbane to Maryborough. And then in here as well, we can change the brush to be solid. We can make it smaller. The line's too thick. We can, there's a lot more you can do in this, but we're not going to do it all today. I'm just drawing a line for you to see what I'm talking about. In fact, while we're here, at the beginning of this clip, I'm going to make the line non-existent, and then about 3/4 of the way in I'll make the line fully developed. And the other part of the thing is I don't have to have a line, I can have dots somehow, which I've somehow got wrong. There you go, I did it the wrong way. So we've got dots for line, and that just makes it pretty. Anyway, that's how you do that in DaVinci. If we go back to our edit page, you can see now if I just run the header up and down, there it is. So now we just have to worry about the plane. So if we select the plane now and we put a transform keyframe there, and then we play it and we stop it and we put another transform keyframe, and then we can move the plane. I'm not going to bother rotating the plane, we've already seen what we do there. So we're just going to shrink the plane down to a reasonable size and position it to the beginning of the line. Actually, you can see the line's already started, so we'll position it to where the line is now. In fact, I will rotate it. In fact, also, because the plane is upside down, it looks too weird, I'm going to flip it and it will apply, and then we've got to rotate it again. So we'll rotate it that way. Now, this is interesting because I've just realized that the rotation angle is going to be wrong for the beginning of the when the plane was large. So we'll fix that in a moment. So we'll just finish positioning the aircraft at the beginning of the magenta line. That's about here. You can see it's not quite rotated enough. Alright, now we go to where the line stops getting drawn, which is about there, and we'll just move the aircraft to about that position. Probably, yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll, actually I might just at this point, we'll bring it, well that's that point, we'll just bring this back a bit, and from this point here, we'll make the plane so it gets smaller again. So from the, we just put in a position marker for there, because that should be in line with, yep, that's where the plane was. And at this keyframe here now, we can shrink the plane down and reposition it so that it's in the right location. And it looks like it's descended into, I could do the same at the beginning as well. Okay, now the thing was at the beginning, I'm predicting it's not going to be, it's facing the wrong way. Right, so what we need to do is we're going to, I'm going to flip it about there. So I'm going to have to cut this and flip the first aircraft. And he's done a full loop. Okay, so now if you watch the whole thing through, alright, I'm going to export that now. So we'll go to our delivery and we'll put an in point at the beginning and an out point at the end, and we'll just create an export for that, and that will be added, as you'll see at the end of this video, the final output result. And we'll call it Flight of the Great Quike. Going home, whatever. So that's that. I'm just going to export, start, and it's done pretty much. There it is. Alright, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed that. There's a whole lot of other ways you can do this. Depends on your software. That's a few ways. I can go in and add a shadow and everything to the aircraft. I can have a curved line that the aircraft follows and heads in the right direction. And we won't do that now, it's too complicated. Thanks for watching this video, something different. Hope you get something out of it. I probably won't do too many of these, but now and then there might be a reason to do one. Alright, catch you soon, and don't forget to watch this. So before you go next committing aviation, here are 2 videos I thought you'd enjoy in the meantime, until the next episode.